Good evening, everybody. Hope everyone's well. Sorry I've been away for a while. I've been busy doing stuff, which I'll probably do a video about. Tonight we are doing a bit of a guitar-y modification, sort of, but it's an easy one. So tonight we are swapping out saddles, and I've got my new cork guitar in my hand just to show you what I mean by saddles. So saddles are these guys here. So it's what the string. I mean, this is a string through guitar. So strings come through the body, through these little gaps here, and then obviously out, and they have at least two functions. The first function is these kind of holes here. There's a kind of a screw thread thing there, which fits an Allen key fits in, a hex key fits in, so you can raise or lower the height of that saddle to raise or lower the string action. So that's a useful thing to do. And also there's a screw here, so you can adjust the distance that this saddle is from this bar, and in that way you can adjust the intonation of your strings, your instrument, which is a good thing to do. And actually, so yeah, I think this is all nicely intonated. When this arrived, it was horribly intonated, but you can see that kind of, and this is a really typical kind of staggered arrangement of the saddles. And that's a job that everyone should really do when they get a new guitar, even if it's a new second-hand guitar or a new guitar from a shop. If you're lucky, the shop, the person that sold you that instrument, they'll have put it into their workshop and they'll have done a good intonation setup for you. But most likely they haven't. And it's just it just takes a bit of time just fiddling around with that. I mean, as I say, when this came, this was awful. This was awful. It just sounded dreadful. But that's all fixed up. Nice, isn't it? By the way, watch it fall down. I've got a Revelation Stratocaster tribute. Can't say the Strat word. An S-type guitar. Don't sue me, Fender. From Revelation. So it's Allen Entwistle pickups like. And that is fitted with these vintage style saddles. So these are the little threads that can go up and down, and it's obviously got a spring and a screw at the back there. So obviously I've taken these off the trem block, so I can show you these. So this and that's I've had vintage style, what are they called, saddles on a Mexican Strat, which I've removed, I have to say. So that's, I mean, and that is a fairly authentic looking vintage style saddle. This is what I'm replacing it with. Now, as you can probably see, there's a lot more metal there. Okay, so we've got new school, old school, right? So you can see there's much more steel going on there. And in fact, I can tell you these vintage ones weigh 4 grams or about 0.2 ounces. And these new ones I bought from Northwest Guitars in the UK here, these are 7 grams. Okay, about 0.3 ounces. So 4 grams, 7 grams, right? So we got almost double the mass here. And given that the strings are sitting in, really, in these saddles, having more mass there is a good idea. But there's also, and I don't know whether the camera will pick this up, but if you see the bottom of these screw threads, they're kind of nice and fairly nice and flat and flush, right? Very good. These ones are a bit more, they're a bit more angry. They're not as flat. you're probably not seeing that. Then they don't feel necessarily particularly. They don't feel sharp. But what they have done is they have gouged out the metal on the on the trem plate. Let's go and have a look at that now. Okay, so you can see the trem plate here, and I'll just point it out with this little pointer. So you see these little gouges here, right here, here, and you can see exactly how the saddles were set up. And these, I mean, I can feel it. These aren't just where the sort of it's sort of rusted a bit and stained. These are actually sort of gouged into the metal. Go on, focus camera. Yeah, I mean you can. You can see it across there. Now, I mean, I could sand these out, right? Is there any point to that? I mean, they're not so deep. I'm just worried that they'll sort of catch on the new ones and might sort of, yeah, kind of, I don't know, make intonation a bit trickier. Set the intonation up. I was thinking, so I'll start sanding it. You know, you've got to go through the grits, and then, yeah, I probably won't sand it. It is what it is. But yeah, so there we go. So be sort of warned of cheap saddles on your sort of tribute guitars. I'm also replacing the this guy, because this isn't. I mean, it looks fine, but it's you know, when you plug the cable in, it's you have to sort of wiggle the cable, so that's not great. So that's been replaced. These are being replaced. Rest of the instruments, Bobby Dazzler. As I say, these are Allen Entwistle pickups. Just set 3 AS57s, and you can see that if I just put the camera down like this, you can see how the pole pieces are set up in a kind of vintage arrangement there. Right then, let's get these new saddles put on. Alrighty, there we go. 6 new saddles placed on, and that took me not even 5 minutes, probably not even 3 minutes. So real quick job, real easy way to improve the tone of your guitar. Obviously, you know, the vintage kind of saddles, for some people that's their cup of tea, that's what they like. I'm going for mass. So let's get some strings on it. Sort my thing out, sort my input jack out, get some strings on it, and let's hear how she sounds. I wish I had some good tips for you for soldering and doing this replacement, but I don't. I hate soldering. These little helping hand things, they're pretty good. You know, you can get the ones with a magnifying glass like this one. They're pretty good. Also, what you'll see is once I've taken off the old jack, there's not so much sort of come on, focus. There's not so much wire showing out from the insulation. So if you're doing this kind of thing, get a pair of these wire strippers. They're really cheap and they do a great job of just stripping the wire. I just want to take off about 2 or 3 or 4 more mils to expose the wire so I can get a better solder. Now, little tip for you, with an electronics job like this, obviously I've not got any strings on. Before you string it up, if you want to test it, what you can do is just take something steel. So I've got my electronics screwdriver here. Obviously set the appropriate pickup position, plug it into your amp, and you should be able to hear it. Middle position, sounds good. Yeah. So that's yeah. Obviously, let's just go into my little amp down there. So that's a quick way of testing if your electronics is all working, and obviously you can, if you've got, you do the same thing, So if I've selected this, shouldn't hear anything here, so that's fine. Although I've not obviously touched the selector switch, and if that's selected, I shouldn't hear that. If the mid is selected, yes, yeah, cool. There we go. So let's get some strings. Okay, so it's the morning after now, so the guitar's sat overnight with new strings, so getting the strings nice and set in, whatever that word is. So we've got the new saddles on there, we've got the new input jack in there. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. So this feels nice and solid now. Looks good. Yeah, so I've set the intonation, I've set the height. There's lots of videos out there of people setting the height of their strings. So it's generally measuring this distance here at the 12th fret from the string. But in my opinion, set it to how you like it and play it. And if it feels too low, raise it. If it feels too high, lower it. There's a lot of string gauges and uses of coins, and it has to be this distance, has to be this thousandth of an inch. I don't really subscribe to that. If it feels right, it's right. If it feels wrong, change it. That's my approach. It works for me. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with these mods. I just got my phone out. So the set of new saddles set me back £9, and the new input jack set me back £2.69. So a little over 10 quid for those modifications. Really simple to do, really easy job. I'm very happy with the results. Happy days. All right, that's it for this video. Cheers.